Hello everyone, welcome to today's lesson, which is still on the volume of cones and pyramids. We are going to kind of focus on word problems today. I'm only going to go through two with you because I want you to do a lot of the practice on your own, because you guys kind of know everything that you need to know with these. It's just putting it all together. So most of the time it's going to be practice and kind of less notes for today. All right, but first off, let's do a quick review. Volume of the cones, we learned yesterday that there were two possible formulas. You could use the pyramid formula, so let's do pyramids first actually, which was 1/3 big B H. And if you remember, the big B stood for the area of the base, not just the base, the area of the base. All right, cones, you could have that same formula, so 1/3 big B H, or since all cones have a circle base, a lot of times you will see pi r squared already plugged in, since that is the area of a circle. All right, so either of them, one of those will work. So let's go through two questions. Again, these are some of the most missed ones because you're already given big B. So we have a pyramid. I only have one formula for a pyramid, which is 1/3 big B H. I'm already given the big B, which is 14, and the height, which is 3. And I could multiply 1/3 by 14 first, but if I do this out to the side, and I actually multiply 1/3 by 3/1 first, notice we have a 3 on top and a 3 on bottom, so they'll cancel out. So those actually cancel out, multiplying by 3 and then multiplying by 1/3, and I'd just be left with 14. Remember from yesterday, we labeled this the unit cubed. So 14 centimeters cubed would be our answer on this one. All right, so we have a cone. We've got two options. We have to look what we're given. So since we're given big B, we're going to use the formula with the big B in it. So 1/3 big B H. I'm going to plug in the two things I'm given, which was big B, which is 9 pi, and our height, which is 12. So I'm going to do 1/3 times 9 first. I'm going to do this without my calculator. I can cross simplify to get 3. So this would actually be 3 times 12, and then don't forget your pi. So this would be 36 pi in our measurement cubed. And then now I'm going to grab my calculator so I can multiply by pi here. So 36 times pi equals 113.1 if I would round it to the nearest tenth, because it was 0.09. So you look at the 0, does it stay a 0, or does it round up to a 1? In this case, it does round up to a 1 since it was 5 or bigger. All right, so now let's try the word problems. Okay, so Sue builds a sandcastle using 2 plastic molds. One of the molds is in the shape of a square pyramid. So let's draw that first. Square pyramid. So I'm going to draw kind of a basic square here. I'm going to put a point up here to make a pyramid. All right, that square pyramid, it says, is 5 inches tall. So that is the height. And the edge of the base is 3.5 inches. And because it's a square, I know that all of the measurements on the bottom are 3.5 inches. Okay, so that's the square pyramid. Let's do the other one. It says the other mold is in the shape of a cone. A cone, you kind of make like a oval shape and a point above. You just connect that point to the sides. All right, that cone is 7 inches tall. So our height is 7 inches. And it says the diameter, remember diameter goes straight across, is 9 inches. But remember, we don't ever use diameter, we always want radius. So we're going to take that diameter and divide it by 2 to get 4.5. Okay, it says which mold holds more sand? Well, since we're talking about filling something, we're talking about volume. So we're going to find the two volumes here. So we'll start with the pyramid. Pyramid, there is only one formula, 1/3 big B H. This time we were not given the big B, so we have to find it. Since this is a square, to find the area, it is side times side. Okay, so the big B in this case is 3.5 times 3.5. So let me do that in my calculator here. 3.5 times 3.5. Our big B is 12.25. And our height, we already said was 5. All right, so we're going to do 12.25 times 5, and then divided by 3, or multiplied by 1/3. Either way, we will get a volume of 20.4 and inches cubed. If I rounded it to the nearest tenth, it was 0.41, but the 1 made it stay to a 4. All right, cone. Now we're not given big B, so I'm not going to use big B. I'm going to use the 1/3 pi r squared h. And we're going to plug in. We said our radius here was 4.5, so I'm going to do 4.5 times 4.5. And our height, we said, was 7. Now, since this one is already in nearest tenth, I'm going to answer this one in terms of the nearest tenth. I am not going to put it in terms of pi because that would be really hard to compare the two. So I'm not even going to do that. So I'll do 1 divided by 3 times 4.5 times 4.5 times 7. And don't forget times our pi here to get an answer of 148.4 inches cubed. There's a big difference between these two. All right, so now let's answer the question. It says, which mold holds more sand? How much more sand does it hold? Okay, so the one that holds the most, obviously, is the cone, 20.4 versus 148.4. So we will answer this by saying that the cone holds more sand. And then we have to say how much more it holds. So if it says how much more, that is our key phrase there that tells us that we need to subtract the two. So let's subtract 148.4 minus 20.4, and that would give us, it holds 128 cubic inches more than the pyramid. All right, let's try one last one. This is meant to be a challenge. And then for tonight, there is a gallery walk. It has answers provided. The more practice you can get with these, the better, because there are quite a few word problems on your test. Okay, it says a city engineer determines that 5,500 cubic meters of sand will be needed to treat the roadways this winter. Does the city have enough sand to treat the roadways right now? So this picture represents the sand that they have. Obviously, it is in the form of a cone. I am not given big B, so I am going to have to use the formula 1/3 pi r squared h. Now, this is actually more of a geometry problem, so kind of 2 years from now. We are given what's called the slant type, and we always usually label it with a cursive L. And the reason why we're given the slant height is because if I draw in the radius, which I don't know, and I see that there's a right angle here, I can find the missing length here by using the Pythagorean theorem. So it kind of relates to last test here. So if I'm labeling the sides, I know the hypotenuse is always across from the right angle. So that's our C. So that means our radius must be smaller than 37. So I'm going to go ahead and plug it into my formula here. 35 squared plus b squared equals 37 squared. Well, 35 squared is 1,225. And 37 squared is 1,369. And we're going to subtract those two. So minus 1,225.
Mommy.
All right, so when I subtract, I get b squared equal to 144. And if I'm just trying to get b, I do the last step, which is to square root that to get an answer of 12. Okay, so my radius here is actually 12. And I did that by using the Pythagorean theorem. All right, so now I can go back to my formula. So I have 1/3 pi times our radius, which is 12. So you can do 12 squared, or sometimes I just do 12 times 12, so don't forget. And then times our height, which is 35.
Mommy.
All right, so since we need 5,500 cubic meters, I do not want to put this answer in terms of pi, because that would be hard to compare. So I'm going to go ahead and get my answer to the nearest tenth here. So I'm just going to go ahead and use my calculator and do 1 divided by 3 times 12 times 12 times 35, and then last I'm going to multiply it by pi. And that gives us an answer of 5,000, oh, I'll use a different pen color here, 5,277 point, it says 87, so that would round up to 9 meters cubed. So does the city have enough sand to treat the roadways? Well, it says that we need 5,500. Right now we have only 5,277, so no. Or I shouldn't say we, no, the city is short. I'm going to put a little bit more detail here and say how much it's short by. So I'm going to go ahead and subtract these two answers. So 5,500 subtract 5,277.9. They are short 222.1 cubic meters. All right, that's it for today. This just takes a lot of practice and getting used to word problems. So like I said, there is a gallery walk for today. Answers are provided. Make sure you message me if you have any questions. All right, have a great day. Bye.